when I started learning UI UX, I used to think that information architecture is just me going to gather things and say, okay, this is where this will be, this is where this will be, homepage will be here, about us will be here, search will be here, this will be here, this will be here. I really did not know what it was until I started learning deep. And I know that most of us were also in that situation when once we hear create information architecture, we just feel like we are just going to start gathering things from different places to just fill in. So that's when the question started coming. I started asking myself, what is now the difference between information architecture and user flow? So now that I know what it is, we are going to be looking at how to actually organize information architecture. It's not just organizing it, how we can structure it to get something better. So the definition of what information architecture is, there's no need defining it because we know information architecture to be let's say you want to build a house, and you want to build a house. The first thing you do is you call an architect to come give you the plan of the house. And then when the person gives you the plan of the house, that's when you start building the house. So for information architecture, it's just you organizing, structuring, labeling all your content in a way that users can easily find what they are looking for and complete tasks. Now, for you to do this, you need to understand how you can put everything together to create the bigger picture, how everything is going to relate to each other. So it's not just about creating it. It's not just about going to, I know in my previous class I said using card sorting can help you organize your information architecture, which is actually correct, but it's actually very correct. But then you need to know what how you can even gather this content, how you can gather this content, and how you have to arrange them as somebody. Now let's just look at this is just a picture of how most people organize their content, where they get to look, pick all the infos, do all of these things. And you see this is an example of a dashboard. The dashboard, you can see that someone there's search this place, there's bookmap, there's dialogue. So it's just you organizing all your content, everything that you need to make the platform user friendly. Now, we are going to look at why information architecture matter. I do tell people that if you don't know the use of a particular thing, it's very easy for you to abuse it. Like you won't even know why you need to you need to make, or you need to actually create information architecture. One of it is clarity about location and discoveries. AI will help users to understand where they are in the platform. So let's say, for instance, I'm trying to browse something on my on the website or on any mobile app. With AI, I would get to understand where I am, and it's also going to help me navigate the site to easily find my way around different sections and pages. So it's actually very crucial that we always work on our information architecture to avoid disorientation, to avoid bad experiences for your users. The next one is surrounding and context. Now for AI, it helps it provides contents to users by organizing content in a meaningful and logical way. It gets to group information, you get to group information together, ensuring that they are related to each other. This will make users to actually make informed decision and understand the contents of a particular digital product. Then we have the future expectation. Um, users, and you are guiding, you need to, one of the importance of AI is that it will help you guide users towards their goal, which is very important. As a user, I'm coming to your platform to achieve a particular goal. So I need to, you need to help me achieve that goal. That's why you also need to understand user journey and align their navigation accordingly. So it's just, there's something I normally do when I'm trying to build something, which is for everything I'm building, I'm asking myself, how would the user get here? So that way I get to organize my contents very well and also ensure that I'm not missing out on anything. One, I ask myself, how will user get to this place? How will they get here? How will they live? So once they are done doing this, what next? So information architecture helps users to achieve their objectives and also make them to be satisfied and accomplished. If I'm coming to Jumia or I'm coming to GG, I have a particular goal, which is to buy goods. Now, that's one of the goals I have as a user. It can be that I have another goal, which is I need to refund. If I want to refund goods, I would go there to refund the goods. But then overall, I have a goal before coming there. So with AI, you'd be able to actually organize the content in the way that you can guide users to achieve their goals. The next one is content strategy and language selection. AI influences the content strategy. It influences how you use your language, how you label things, and how you present it to your users. If you know how to do information architecture, if you know how to draft it very well, you will get to see that you would no longer be designing things that are not, even when you're, so I tell people that with your AI, with information architecture, sometimes you'll be able to pick out content from there to fill in your main design. So that just based on how you are able to get your language, how you select your language. I've seen situations where you have home, about us, contact us, and all of that. Those are simple terms. Those are simple languages. But if you don't actually take this information architecture very serious, you might end up putting terms because we truthfully we have people that know how to speak good English, and you know that about us, we have different things that we can use for about us. If you go to Chat GPT currently and tell Chat GPT rewrite about us or give me suggestions for about us, you would see different suggestions that you can use. But planning your AI will help you to know the kind of content that you would use, and you would be consistent with it and clear, so that it's going to align with users' expectation. Language selection is also very crucial because it gives a form of user friendliness on a particular platform. Now, another reason why AI matters is that AI directly impacts your UI and design. It will inform you where you need to put this. Hello, Godwin, your hand is up.
Yes, I wanted to ask a question.
Okay.
You said AI and information architecture, it directs users how it's going to interact with our app or website. What
Yeah.
about is it different from user flow?
Okay, so now that's where the big picture comes in. For AI is like everything. Let's say you're building a house, everything in the house, you're building it, that's AI. Like everything. So when you're putting together your contents for AI, you're considering the user, you're considering the business, and you're considering the engineering team, you're considering all of these parts. But for user flow is just focused on the user. You get. So let me use this explanation. You're building a house, you have your kitchen, you have toilets, you have every part of the house. That's AI. You have the plan, that's the AI, the overall content or the overall plan of the house. Then as a user, I can stay in the parlor and I need to get something from the kitchen. And I would have to, if I need to get something from the kitchen, there's a process I need to follow, which is leaving where I am, going through maybe the passage, probably there's a passage, then from the passage, I get to the kitchen. So for user flow, it's just about the user. It's the various ways it gets to the user. So, but AI is covering every part. Do you get? Sorry, IA. Yeah, so it's IA. I've been calling it AI. Thank you for that. It's IA, information architecture. So the person that asked the question, have I been able to answer the question?
Yes.
Okay, so the last one, which is it helps you to, it directly impacts your UI with a comprehensive IA, with a comprehensive information architecture. let me just be mentioning information architecture because it's looking like I'm thinking of ChatGPT now. So information architecture would help you organize your designs. It will help you know where to place button. It will help you to know where to place your menu. It will help you to know where to place all other UI components. IA guides your wireframe, it guides your prototyping. It will also help you to create interfaces that users would want. Now, I have a question for everyone, which is information architecture the same as UX? Intermediate level. Let's talk. Do you think information architecture is the same as UX? I just need a yes or no.
No.
No. Okay, so why no?
Okay, basically, I think information architecture is subset of UX. So that was why I said no.
No, okay. Yeah, any other person? If you have a different answer that is not no, you can also say it.
For me, I say yes.
Okay,
Because
why?
when you are making user research, you consider both the users and the business goals. So I think it's yes for me.
Oh,
And same
okay.
thing as information architecture too. You are considering both the users and the business goals, everything together. So,
Well, for me, I would say no.
I feel it's not the same.
Yeah, it's not, to me, it's not the same also. It's not the same to me. They're different.
Oh, okay. So the answer is actually information architecture and user experience. They are not the same thing, but they are related because you have to it's like a part of UX. So why AI focus primarily it focuses on the organization structure and labeling of content. It's concerned of about how informations are categorized, arranged. It's like a framework for organizing your content, whereas UX is like it encompasses the overall experience you get while interacting with the product. It's like a broader range. UX is very broad. But with good information architecture, you would give your users good user experience. So UX and information architecture, they are not the same. So for those of you that answer it's a part of UX, yes, it's a part of UX. It's just a part. It's a part that would make you design good. UX is more of the overall feel of a product and all of that. So we can see the image here where UX is talking about the interface, pleasant interface, is talking about the realistic idea of the final, is talking about collaboration. AI focuses on the user goal, it focuses on cognitive effect, and it focuses on structure. These are different things AI focuses on. Now let's look at information architecture as a game.
Sorry, please, can I see the screen back again? Previous slide.
Okay, the previous slide.
Thank you. We can move on now.
Oh, okay. All right, let's think of AI as a game. Um, so for people that used to play game, if they are asking you AI as a game, what does it do, or what is it? What will be your response?
I didn't quite get the question. I didn't quite get your question.
Okay, so we've been talking about AI as organizing content and all of that. If you're to bring AI into game development, what do you think it's something that the game developers used to put in place when using AI? Am I confusing us with the question?
I think so, but if I'm to get you correctly, like if I'm to understand, you mean like, is it what influences the developer's design when during the game or what?
Yes, something like that. So say AI is you're thinking of AI. Okay, you want to use information architecture in game development. How do you think they used to use it in game development? Game development is like it's another part, designing interface. That's even very different from designing website and mobile app. They have their own principles and all of that. If you had to bring information architecture planning in it, how would you plan maybe for any game you want to build?
I feel pop-up cards can be used to pass out information in the game.
So let's picture this. You notice that when we talk about game development, they don't just give us everything, all the information at once. If we're playing a game, it's just like we're in a new world with new set of instructions and all of that. Say we are getting to play Mortal Kombat. Before you get to play Mortal Kombat, you notice that you have to choose your players and all of these things one after the other before you now get into the game itself, and you start experiencing that. So it's just like AI. Where AI comes in is the fact that you notice that they don't present all the information at once. They bring it small, bit by bit. First, you would get to see the
Yes, okay,
introduction
now I
of the
get.
set. Yeah, you get to see the introduction of the set. You get to see characters. You get to choose your character. From there, you will not see like a small backstory, asking you yes, it also show the gamers. It will show you hints and all of that. They are bringing the if you notice, they are giving you the information bit by bit. It's something they are bringing bit by bit until you now get to discover the world. But one thing they try to make you do is discover the world slowly. They don't give you this at once. Now you can see that they are using this AI. They use it they use information architecture very well when it comes to planning game. But when it comes to website, most time we don't. You would see a website, everything is crowded. And note that information architecture has to do with the cognitive part of the human. So it's just like one of the laws would tell you that you don't need to overload your user. You don't need to overload the brain of your users. So that same concept is what we're supposed to bring in when you're designing. You bring out this content step by step, slowly. You're making them anticipate what is going to happen next. So it's just like even in movies, it's like them arranging their content. So you can I can boldly say they use this concept in movie making, because when the director or the producer, when they are trying to bring the movie, they bring it scene by scene. They don't give you everything at once in one scene. They break it down scene by scene, act by act. Then you will just be asking yourself, what next, you will just be there to you want to experience everything. So if you're thinking of AI, when next you want to think of AI, think about it like that you need to give your users, you need to give them that you need to give them everything on the website bit by bit. You don't need to display all to them at once. It's with what we refer to as progressive disclosure. It's coming out small till they get to experience what they want to experience. Now, we'll be looking at the elements of information architecture. We have the organization system. That's the one that is very common, where we get to organize our content differently. We say, okay, this is where it's going to come. This information is going to be here. This one is going to be here. You just look for a way to organize this framework so that everybody will get to know. Users will focus on a particular information and know where this is not. That's what we all use. Now, under organization, how we organize all of these things, we have the hierarchy structure. That one, you get to organize it in a way that it comes from the top. Okay, so this slide, I think you should. So you get to get it from the top. You organize it based on what is supposed to be on top. And then you now start bringing the subcategories that users can navigate through. So let's picture this. We are trying to do information architecture for, say, a food delivery app. Food delivery app or a website. Let's use a website because that's what we'll get to picture it instantly. We are doing for a food website. And then if you want to draw it, you first of all put the first box that is home. And then you now bring down a line, and the line it will now come here. You now see at home, you now have about us, contact us, food products, order, and then under about us, you still break it down. So this is based on hierarchy, based on how you feel like it's of importance, of how this is supposed to be and how this is not supposed to be, and all of that. So we also have the sequential structure where you get to organize your content to create a certain path for a user. That means the users will have to follow a particular step and take in information that is presented to them at a particular time. So this approach works when you're trying to avoid giving users plenty choices to choose from, and then become frustrated and overwhelmed by plenty things that you have on your system. We also have the metric structure that is actually it's just like, while for sequential you're trying to take the user by the hand to take them through different process and all of that. For this, you are giving the users access to all informations in form of links and buttons. So let's say, for instance, there are some apps you go to, and you see different content and you see different links, unlike sequential, where you would first of all display one, which is like sign up. So after they sign up, they will not get to see they will not get to see all of this. For matrix, you're displaying everything at once. There will be sign up here, there will be login here, there will be this here. You're just displaying everything at once for them to now move how they want to move. You would allow users to create their own paths when they are trying to do what they need to do with your platform. We also have what we call the labeling system, where you get to label every single word on your platform. You label it in the way that they will get to understand it. It will help them to find content by just looking at what they are looking for. So for instance, I'm trying to look for let's say I'm trying to look for phone number, and I know that where I can get a phone number of any company is if I go to the company part or the contact us part. So that's labeling system, where you get to label it and people would know what they are looking for part time. If I'm looking, for instance, if I come to Jumia and I'm looking for shoes, what I need to do is I need to go to categories under is it accessories, under one of these parts, and I would see shoes. So it's just like you trying to convey this information. You're labeling it in a way that users will be able to just find it based on the concept they have in their head. Are we together? Is there any question so far? Okay, so let me just continue. Then we have the navigation system. Please, can you still see my screen? Okay, yeah, you can. So we have the navigation system, where you now get to put everything in a particular nav, bar, and they get to see the content the way they want to see it. This particular one is, you have to be as simple as possible. That's what we mostly use when we are organizing information architecture. You see people say, okay, this is this. Okay, there you have a question. Goodness, you have a question. Okay. So for navigation, it should be as simple and straightforward as possible. Why getting the users to get any information that they want to get? It's also very important that you come up with what we call metadata. Now, what are metadata? They are just information that is about another information. So it's like, so when we get to the part where we get to draw, where we get to build information architecture for any system we'll be building. You get to really understand why it is very important that you need to build every part of your design needs to be built. You should take it like your for anything that a user is looking for, they should be able to see it and they should know where exactly it is. They should not be confused. That's the whole essence of you even doing your information architecture. And I know that another useful thing about it is, if let's say today you're working with a particular company and maybe you were not able to finish the project before you move on to have a bigger team, with information architecture, the new person that is coming will just know where to continue from without getting to start afresh. It's going to help the new people coming in to save time and all of that. So you don't need to assume that users would know everything. They will know the names of everything they are looking for. You need to give them information in A to Z format. So that's why you see, if you go to Jumia and if you look at their categorization section, you see that they arranged it in alphabetical order. There's a way they arranged it that people will be able to understand or be able to know what they are looking for. Sometimes you see when it comes to there's a time that we're building a learning management system for my company, and the developer then arrange courses according to arrange courses with this A to Z approach. Now, his reason for arranging it is that so that if a user is coming to the platform and I'm looking for a course, let's say that is user flow, I don't need to actually start looking for, maybe I might even forget the name, but by just typing you, I should be able to see all the courses that are under you and how I can use it. So for great UX, you need to actually, for you to have great UX on your system, you need to actually organize your content, categorize it in a way that people would be able to understand it as you want them to. We also have the search system. So all of these are elements of how you can arrange your system. You can arrange your contents in any design that you're doing. For the search system, you would get to do a search system that people can easily find what they are looking for. So let's imagine a website for e-commerce business. Now, the first thing that comes to your mind is, if you create search that holds all possible pieces of data, it will be very easy for users to come and search for what they are looking for without coming to do plenty things on the platform. So your search should also put into consideration when you're trying to plan all of these things. Remember that information architecture is all about planning and organizing. You plan and organize before you even move to the board to start doing it. I remember that in the last class I said something about using card sorting to actually get data for your information architecture. I also said something about using another app, like using another app, a competitor's app. I don't know if it's in this class, but using a competitor's app to also know the kind of content that they have on their platform is actually a very serious task. It's actually something very serious to do. Sometimes if I need to get information, if I need to get content, if I need to know what to design per time, what I do is sometimes I just go to, and one way to check for content of any website is for you to go to competitors app. So say I want to build a marketplace, I'll go to Jumia, I'll go to Konga, I'll look at their elements, I'll look at what they've been able to do so far, I'll look at how their contents are, I'll write them down. Like that's how I do mine. I'll write them down, I'll pick up a paper, and once I go to the platform, what's the first thing I see? I'll click on home. If I go under home, I'll list out all the things I can see under home. I'll write it there. I'll go to say search. Once I click on search, I would check all the things I would see on that search. If I search for something, what's the next thing I need to see? Maybe the search history, all of those things. I'll just start keeping them down. At the end of the day, I know the overall content that is supposed to be on this particular app. And then remember that you've done your research and you know the business model, or you know the path that your company is going to follow to achieve the goal that they want to achieve. Then you now use what you already have from your competitors or the content. So sometimes it's even better that you use more than one. So nobody should tell you that this work is something that you rush. You should take your time to the end goal is to build something users love. The end goal is not to build 10 apps in 2 days, or build 10 apps in 2 days is not realistic. Design 10 products in 3 months. That's not the goal. The goal is for you to take time to design something that, so you know that if you go on Jumia, if you go on what's it called, if you go on ChatGPT and you tell ChatGPT to give you an optimized CV of a UI/UX designer, just type it. They'll give you an optimized CV. If there's anything you would see in the process, is the fact that um you would see things. You would see I'm trying to remember you'd see achievements. So sometimes it's even beyond building plenty app. It's all about building apps that you see the person that builds Jumia app, the person will be happy today. The person that designed the app, the person will be happy where the person is, that it has over how many million users or how many thousand users on the platform. And in as much as people are complaining, I think their interface is not very fine, but their content arrangement is something I like. It's not stressful as other platform. Have you tried using? I've forgotten there's a platform I tried using one time to shop something online, and I could not even know what I'm going to do next and all of that. It was so confusing. But then with Jumia, or sometimes people would say because you've been using the app for a while, but that's not it. If you give Jumia to someone that have never used Jumia before, the person will be able to navigate the site without being confused. Even if we have plenty content that would make the person you see plenty content, that plenty content is just like a form of distraction, but you'll be able to use it very well and do what you want to do, because you know where each of these things are arranged and what is the next thing you need to do from it. Okay, so now we'll be looking at the 8 principles of information architecture. And now we know the principle of objects. Now, what's the principle of objects? The principle of objects, it's more like saying that you need to organize your contents as something, as though as though it's a living thing. So you need to put it like, okay, this is a living thing, this is where it's going to do. You need to arrange your content with all the flexibility it requires. If you see your content as a human being, it's going to be easier for you to see the relationship between this and this, between two contents. You get to see the relationship between this content and this content, and how you're going to present it to the users. We also have the principle of choices. For this one, it's more like psychological. You know that you need to give people want to have as many choices as they want, but that's not actually true. That's like they say people want to have plenty choices that they can choose from. That's not true. What's one thing about choices is that you need to, the more choice that we can make, it's actually it takes more space in our brain, so it can even cause anxiety. So just imagine I have 3 different jobs and I have 4 different jobs, and let's say they are all this is actually very difficult. I'm trying to use something that I can relate to it. Say you have a job, you just came on board with a company and say they are paying you 250,000 naira, and then in less than 2 days you get another job that is paying you, say 5% more than, let's say the other job is paying you 270 or 280, but then that one is remote and this one is remote, and you're not given the opportunity to make choice. At that point, you know that making choices can be actually very difficult, because if you just started this company, it's just 3 days into your onboarding, they've onboarded you 3 days ago, and you're not thinking of how you're going to leave this one and go to another one. It's something that is not as easy as it seems. So the thing is, the thing is that we want to give people choices, Yes, but you have to limit the choice that you give to them. You have to limit the choices that you give to them. Ensure that these choices are arranged based on hierarchy. It will be very easy for them to make a decision when they have limited choices than when they have a whole lot of choices to make, and they are now confused on the platform. Are we together? Is there any question before we move on? Okay, so we have the principle of disclosure. And what does this principle tell us? It tells us that people processes new thing in a certain way. So that means they don't like dealing, people don't like dealing well with unexpected or unwanted information. It is called, we've already talked about it, which is progressive disclosure. It means that in your information architecture, you need to organize your data that people can not only absorb it at a normal rate, but they can anticipate further information. Say I want to do something, just like we talked about the game. Your user should be able to anticipate what they need to do next. It should be bit by bit. You should be giving them bit by bit. You should not give them all of this at once and feel like it's a detailed content that you gave to them. We also have the principle of exemplars. Now, this principle is more psychological. It talks about how humans categorize things. We are able to categorize concept by creating a list of examples that help us group things. So we've been talking about these things. When you're trying to apply all of these things in information architecture, you should think the way you display something on your website. Each category should actually be something that your users can take from and all of that. We have the principle of front doors. Now, this is actually very important. You need to assume that your users will come to your website from another page that's not your own page. Say, for instance, I want to, say I go on Google. Google is not my own page. It's not the home page. Say I'm building a food delivery app and I'm calling it Food Party. Google is not the home page, right? Google is not my own page, and I'm going through Google. So it's also very wise that you need to put contents, put different ways that people can come to your platform. This is part of the plan in your information architecture. Some will come from recommendations, so you also need to put it there. You would have so many pages that people can come in from your website. It's not just from you. So it is important that you reflect the website as what they can see. So in this, I got to learn that your own page is not should just be any and any page. Your own page shouldn't be the whole website. The difference between that is you don't need to even make your own page very long. Your own page should just be something that once they come to your platform, they'll be able to know the big picture of what the website is all about. So that's why sometimes it takes, the homepage is something that you should plan very well when it comes to you designing, or when it comes to you designing it. Your own page should be able to give somebody an overview of what is happening. So your own page is like your CV as a product designer, like your CV and your portfolio. That is what is going to give you an interview slot. If your own page is not as sweet as it's supposed to be, or is not as informative as it's supposed to be, you don't expect people to come to the other part of the home page, or you don't expect them to stick with you till the end. So your own page should be something that you sit down to plan and ensure that it's able to sell your content that moment when people are looking at it. We also have the principle of multiple classification. This comes that we have different things, so you should be able to group your stuffs, group what is supposed to be on your content, group them so that people will be able to see it, the kind of data that they want to see. All of these elements, all of these tips are something that would help you. It's going to help you know how to organize everything you want to organize, so that users will not be distracted when they come to your site. Then the last one is the principle of focused navigation. Oh, sorry, that's not the last one. That's the second to the last one. The principle of focused navigation that says that you should have your navigation should be as sweet and short as possible. It should be something that if there's a blog on your blog page should be different. Like you organize your navigation in the way that if you have different things, remember to always classify. So your navigation should just be focused. Users should be able to see what they want to see and go where they want to go. It's going to improve usability of your website. Then the last one is the principle of growth. You need to put it in mind that your platform is going to increase. The internet is evolving at every point. That your content, the content you have on your website would always grow, would always improve. Just like you have features by features. You don't just bring out all features at once. You have features by features. So in the way you're trying to build it, you should be able to build it in a way that you just put it in mind that this is going to grow and users are going to, it's going to grow, so you should keep room for that growth. So is there any question before we move to Fig Jam? Is there any question?
Hello, sir. I have a question.
Okay.
Can I go
Yeah,
ahead,
sure.
please?
Yeah, you can go ahead.
I was going to ask, okay, when you talk about the principle of front doors, giving your users, let's say, a way for them to come into your website through another website. Yeah, if you're designing a website, for example, how do you give users this gateway, like from another website, so they could come to your own website? I'm just wondering.
Okay, so when I mean people would come in through different websites, it's just it's more like creating rooms for link. So let's say for instance, if you're putting something on a part, if you're putting a website link, for instance, and you know that you don't know where your website is going to come in, like you don't know where people will click it from. I've seen different websites on different places where I shared the content recently to somebody and the person was not able to click it because of the link that was sent to the person. So now in that case, I had to now go back to the page and discover that. So you'll be wondering, how is this your concern when it's supposed to be like the web guy's concern for him to know when this is supposed to come, when a link is supposed to work. But you need to also plan that also. Then when we come to designing your web page, I've seen people, imagine me scrolling on top from top of your website and I'm going down, like I'm going down and I need to, I don't know if you've seen that kind of website where because they want to make it fine, they now do this floating nav bar. So say I am on the home page and I scroll down to the nav bar. Now, normally I'm supposed to come back up, right? So that's where also this open doors needs to work from. You need to put different means where people can come to your website. That's why these days you notice, even if I'm in about us page, I can quickly click to the link to that from homepage, the nav bar, and it will leave me there. Now this is your work, because when you're putting the information, when you're doing the information architecture, you're going to link it that from this place I should be able to go to this place, from this place I should be able to go to this place. If I'm on another website and I'm clicking on the web link or the link, it should lead me to this homepage. You now get the concept. Hello.
Hi, sorry, I don't know if it's your network or my, your voice has been breaking.
Oh wow. So like, where did you hear me and stop?
Yeah, you talk about maybe you could on your own this is the web link. I think that's where I heard the last thing
Yeah.
you said.
Okay. Yeah. So I was talking about the web link. You know that people would mostly use links. So when you're doing that your information architecture, you should be able to put it there that this link should lead here. So that's why I've even come to realize that when you're doing your information architecture, you need to add comments to it. So it's not just doing the information architecture and drawing box and say home about us here. So there should be some form of comment and say this link, this home link, from any link that anybody would click to, it should lead the person to the home page as far as they are using the normal link that they would host, the normal link that they will host. Then that's for another website. Then when you talk about the open door in your own website, it's more of giving these users flexibility to come into a particular place from the website. I was using the example of me trying to I come to your website for the first time, and because your contents are captivating, I'm now reading till I get to the nav bar. Now, when I get to the nav bar, let's say this is very long. You know, when something is engaging and interesting and it's long, I won't even know. I would have just been scrolling till I get to the bottom part of it, which is the footer. Now, when I get to the footer, it's advisable that your links should also be in the footer or should be on the footer, so that once I get to your footer, I should be able to click on a link on the footer and move straight to where I'm going to. Do you get it?
Yes, I understand that.
Oh, okay. So is there any other question? I can see a question saying we should where is it? I should explain the exemplar part again. Now the principles of exemplar. You need to actually categorize concept by creating a particular list of things. So or a criteria to use to group it. So each when you're grouping things, you don't need to okay, when you're grouping things, in as much as we say it's you grouping things, you can't say because you're grouping shoes, you now go and group it to where body creams are. So you need to use a things that people are used to, examples to be able to group them and all of that. So at this point, I'm going to give my mentor the opportunity to also add to what he has to say.
Okay, in that, I think it's all about, it works on categories, okay? So for instance, just like what she is explaining, so I can't group body for example, food stuff in clothing. Do you get it? So you need to categorize them and differentiate them. So I think that's what it means.
I can't hear anything again. I hope it's not just me. Or is it for everybody?
Same here. I can't hear anything.
Okay, I think it's general then. It's a general issue.
Hello, guys. Hello, can anybody hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I don't know what happened. My mic was a bit mute. Okay, so we are going to. Okay, you have a question, Susu. Yeah, sure, you can ask.
Okay, yeah, sorry about that. I was just wondering, how about is this same as, okay, when you have maybe on your footer sections you have like your about, you have contact, maybe you have product and what have you. Can you say that is also like you creating a gateway or giving your users a front door to your website or other
Yes.
links? Yeah.
Yes, that's it. So that I was having a discussion with somebody, I think that was sometime last year, about a product we were supposed to build. He's a developer. So I'm just going to throw it to the house so that would actually get to analyze if his approach, if what he said was actually right. So I finished designing something for him then. So after designing, he came to me and he was like, so it's part of the team which I was designing for. And he said something. It was like users don't have that patience to start reading about the company, our values, our this on the homepage, that it gets them frustrated and all of that. That you should those things should be in the footer. Let me be able to finish navigating the website. And then if I want to read it, I should go to the footer or I should go to the nav bar on top and get what I want to get and maybe click on the link that will take me down there. So then I wasn't as I think that was 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago. I wasn't um learned as I am now. So I did not agree with him initially because when I was learning product design, I had they taught me this thing that your homepage should be what the users should know about the website. One, then two, they said if as users we want to be able to see what your company have done before time. So that's why you see them include things like what our users are saying about us, that's going to build trust for users to be able. So if they don't see that on your website, they just feel like you've not done something and it's a new website. So now I'm trying to now bring that he said previously, that users don't actually want all of those things on the website. But then some users you interview will tell you that they want to see track record from what you've done. So what do you guys think? We are intermediate people, so sometimes we need to also argue on things like this.
Okay, so
Yeah, okay, so let's do it like this. Just raise your hand so that I'll call you accordingly. Susu is already unmuted, so I think she would go. After Susu, Stanley can go. Okay, Susu, let's hear what you have to say.
Okay, for me, I think that it's best. It's actually it's two ways. Okay, the first one I will say that, okay, it's good for users to, whenever they come to your website, they should just see what your website is all about. Like they should get a hint of what the website is all about, even without them going down to the footer. So you trying to say, okay, you want to put everything in the footer, like you, okay, what actually are you putting at the beginning of your website? That's that thing that matters. And again, if you want them to scroll down to the footer section before they will see everything that has to do with the website, I think that it's not everyone that has the patience to start going through your website. So it's best that when you design a website, let the users see what the website is all about. Once they just get to the website, they should get a hint of what your website is all about. Because the truth is, it's not all users that usually have that patience to go through even your about page, go through your contact, what have you page in your website. Some users just want to get, maybe for example now, I want to get a shoe in Jumia. Even if I'm not really conversant with Jumia website, like when I get to the website, my eyes will just be going through the website to and fro. Like I'm just looking for a place where I'll just see shoe, and trust me, I'll just go there, click on it and get it and just walk away. But for those people who are technical, like people who are into the tech industry, like they will actually take their time to go through most websites because they know that that is the best thing to do. I think people in the tech industry understand how to navigate through its website compared to those who are not really conversant with all of this. So I think it's actually best that your user come to your website, they get an hint of your website. Then, of course, you can put, like we talk about the link now, like the front, let's say the front door, yeah? We can actually put that on the footer section, but it's best your user comes to your website, they get an hint of what the website is all about. So I think that's what I have to say.
Oh, okay. I like this direction. Stanley.
Okay, so I would agree with what she just said. Putting everything down the footer I don't think it goes well. In as much as the users have short time for them to make a decision. If you let's take a scenario whereby you put everything in the footer, like what she said, what is going to be in the page proper when you start putting all those things footer. So to me, I think what needs to be done is when you are doing your design properly, in as much as you don't want to give them so much design because of their decision time, you could just break all those things into chunks. Like you write a brief about it, and then whoever is interested, there should be like a place to read more for them to click on if they are interested. If they are not, they will just flip through and do other things and make their decision, because you can't leave all those parts and just put everything. Like for me personally, if I go to a website, I don't even go to a footer. The only thing that takes me to a footer is maybe I'm looking for their social media handle. I know most times it's always there, but now I'm going to the footer to look for about us and stuff. As a user, me for myself, I don't go there, which I know that most users also behave like that too. So I don't think putting it in a footer is actually the best form in as for us to get the users to decide properly when they're on the website.
Okay. Michael.
Okay, good evening. Good evening, everyone.
Yeah. Good evening.
So, yeah, so my own opinion on the matter is that users usually have, like we were speaking about the cognitive part of users and how some of them actually do have like short attention span in what the activities they perform on a website, on a platform. So most users want to come on a platform and like how the first speaker was saying, they want to get things done fast, what they came there to do. So putting and filling in the about us or mission and vision on a website isn't really needed. It could just be like how it's a link, but to the footer is where I don't really agree with, because putting things down to the footer, like how the last person just said, most people don't really scroll down to the footer just to be looking for about. I think this thing have to come at the header of the website, not at the footer, because getting to the foot, most people don't even make it down to the footer. They just want to be on the website and see whether the website is trustworthy, and then whether sign up for whatever product the website is offering and go their way. So that's what I have to say.
Oh, okay. So we are actually getting this now. We are actually really getting this because I sometimes I feel like there's no right way to do this. From what Karame said, both of you are right, but I think that the best idea is not to overwhelm the users with a lot of information. Now that's where remember that's where different type of users. Before, if I'm to use my dad's age, I'll tell you that before my father would even do any business with you, before my father would use your POS, he would be able to trust you. And you see that trust, even let me just use the POS as an example. You see that trust, you would have to give him receipts of him saying that if you tell him that it was declined, they want to see the receipts. That's how they have that time. But when it comes to people of our age, we are trying to build something for us. I don't think I have that time. Seriously, I don't think I have that time to be reading company's mission, vision, that when I'm not applying for interview, like I'm not applying to work with your company. I'll just stay and I want to know about your company. So you see that in as much as we don't have time to do all of those things, sometimes it's also very important that you give them that's where flexibility comes in. Give them that opportunity for them to be able go there themselves. So you won't say because they don't like it or they don't want to do it, because of that, you're not going to put it. So the best way is get them a link to do it, get them a link to do it, or use visuals to just represent maybe about us, small visual, and put the read more, any person that wants to read. But though if you start doing that for all the sections, remember that if you start doing that for all the sections, the page will be very long. It will be getting long and boring. So just look for a link. That's where the planning comes in, the whole planning thing comes in, because it's not actually very easy. Now we've talked about information architecture. It's looking all simple that I want to build something for banking, and I'm just like, okay, because it's banking, I'll know where to arrange it. It takes time, it takes other efforts and all of that to be able to arrange this content, because it's which part of learning UI is the part of learning product design that is very hard is when, yes, that's why it should be based on target audience. The part of learning it is the part that has to do with the thinking. That's the reason why till today I would beat my chest and tell people that AI can't take our job. So when they say AI is going to take UI UX position, we currently have a platform that you just need to put your design idea in it, and it will give you the screen. We have those platforms now, but can they take your work from you? No, because all of these things are more thinking. It's more of thinking. It's more of planning and paperwork than it is going on Figma to do anything, all of that. So that's it. So let's plan information architecture. Let me stop sharing this and go to Figma. Is there any other question again before we continue? Okay, so I don't think there's any question again. So for today we just plan. So we'll plan it together, and you give me suggestion. Then so this is what I do most times when I want to start building information architecture. Okay. So most times, whenever I want to start building information architecture, this is what I do. I would not say this is the best approach to follow. You can, but it's actually something that helps me a lot. So, like I said, the first thing I do is I like going to different platforms to get ideas from what I want to do. So let's say, for instance, I want to use CUDA. Let's say, for instance, I want to do something for banking. I'll go to CUDA. Sometimes I'll just it might not be yet, it might be on the app, but I'll first of all go to CUDA. Say I want to build something for banking and it's a website. I'll first of all go to CUDA. I'll look at how they arrange their stuff. So I'll start with the nav bar. I'll look at what is on the nav bar. I'll take note of all of these pages. So it's actually it's actually a big job. So I'll come here, I'll come to my board and I'll say I'll pick up my text to first. and I'll just write it down that this is CUDA app. So I'll put it here that this is CUDA first. So the reason why I do all of these things now, you can do this one without using FigJam. You can do it on Google Docs or any of those places. And then I'll come and I'll just be picking them one after the other. I'll say for personal, I'll come to this place and I would put down another text and I'll put personal. If it's a website I'm building, then I'll look at what they included in personal. I can see discover personal, I can see transfer, budget, save, investment card, payments, and all of that. So for me, because of what I want to do, I'll just say, okay, this part of my version, this under this personal, I should be able to have sometimes I do like linking it. Under personal, I'll just have payments. So I'll say, what are the payments I want to have in my own system? Remember that we are product designers, we are UIUX designers, but the company has the overall approach or the goal of where they are going to. It can be that it's a fintech app, but they are not going to payments. It can be that they just want to focus on saving. So depending on the part that my company is going with. So let's say we want to do payment. It's a all-in-one solution for payment. So I'll put down payment and I'll just start writing. So you see where it is not as easy as it looks. All of these things, some of you would ask. So there's a question that I've been asked several times that you know that we are working in Nigeria where you can't tell your boss that you took 1 week just doing information architecture. It's not possible. But the goal from the starting, I said the goal is to get international gig. Nigerian naira is falling every day. That you only need international gig to be able to sustain. So when you start working with international companies, they give you tax and all of that. If you want to, the first thing is even I don't know if I've shared this with this class. There's a job that I got before, and it was not based on my portfolio that got me that job. It was based on, have you solved a problem before and how did you go about it? How is your process like? The process is the most important thing. How is your process like? How do you know where to place that? I've seen this question somewhere. How do you know where to place information in your design? Or how do you know how to categorize information? Now you see what Coda did here. What they did here is categorizing their information. They would have, I swear, decided to list all of these things. Like which bank is that one? Access Bank. Let me show you that one. They would have, I swear, decided that they don't want to make it as sweet as this. They want to have more than one half bar, and they list everything they want to list here. Start listing everything they want to list here, and be going. This is like two in one half bar. If they have opportunity, you can also add the third one just to list everything you want to list. But that's not the case. You can see that they have plenty things, but they had to personalize it. You can see the classification. All of these things, one person sat down to think of all of these contents. All these things are content. So if you're doing your information architecture and you are building something as broad as this, you would have to include all of this content. Where all of these contents are, you would get to put them one after the other to see that's how you do it. So now let's go back to our CUDA app. So under payments, now and I say, okay, what are the payments that we are going to, what are the things that they are going to do under payments? So I think I should use Google Docs so that it will be easier to classify this first before I come to FigJam. FigJam is mostly for diagrams. So that's why it's difficult for me to do what I want to do. So let me just use Google Docs. So okay. So IE. So I already have so this how I do it. I'll say Naviga under the Naviga. Under the Naviga, I have this. Under the Naviga, I'll start now listing out all the things I can see there. I'll put now business company in help. I'll just put them personal business company help. There's one more thing there. Sign in and login. Sign in and join CUDA. Sign in slash join. So this I would reduce it to the main distance 14. Now what I'll do is this is the nav that they have there. I will now start looking at each of these. They have save, they have pay, and they have CP transfer and spend. So let's say my company is focused on just rate rent and send. Rate rent and send. So under make parents, I would now start getting all the other things that they want to get, which is make payments, electrical bills, airtime, internet, gift card, internet, electrical bills, gift card. Remember that I've not started my own information architecture. This is just me getting, first of all, I'm trying to look at competitors app. And when I mean competitors app, like the best of the best in the market, I'm trying to look at them. After looking at them, the next thing I'm trying to do is to now write down all they have. And then remember that you must have also done your card sorting. So your card sorting is sometimes your card sorting comes after it's advisable that you do your card sorting after this. I know that it's part of research, but remember that there's something you need to remember, that the design thinking process is iterative. You can come to another step from another step. So you can decide to, after you're done with this one, now that you know what things that are supposed to be there, you can now list, this is personal, this is business company help. You can now list business personal and put all of them in one thing, in one WhatsApp group. Let me use the word WhatsApp, put all of them one place, and then try to give your users these other different options. Now these options would be the ones you've gotten from competitors apps, and including the one that you want in your app. You give them options and I'll tell them to fill it in where they feel like it's going to stay better. So that's the whole concept of card sorting. You just give them cards, you just give them options and tell them to categorize it based on how they want to categorize it. So I'm sure we all understand that concept. So from this now you can start doing it. So let's now go back to under send. What can be used under send, or what can we do? Sorry, warning. Imagine your company is into crypto, so they can also send crypto. They can send crypto. What again can they send? I'm asking suggestion. What again do you think they can send?
Data, airtime, and
NFT.
Yeah, they can send NFC.
Airtime. You can send
Yeah,
airtime. They can send airtime. They can send data. I don't know.
yeah, send data and airtime will be like one, because it's almost the same field. NFC, they can send NFC. So let's assume this is not all, but let's assume that this is all that they can send. Like, let's assume that this is all they can send. And now we'll go to business. Just how I arrange, we'll go to business. Now, this is where the next question is. What exactly do we want our users to see when they get to the business page? Is it that we want them to be able to create accounts for themselves? So for Kuda, they should be able to register their business. So you can register your business on Kuda. They should be able to discover businesses. They should be able to order for POS. So let's say for us, I don't know the name of the platform yet, but yeah, they can send gift cards. Yeah. So this is understand. For business, they should be able to create a business account. A business account. What other content? Remember that each of these contents now, they have their own content. So sometimes I just list them like this, and when I get to FigJam, that's where I now get to arrange them the way I want to arrange them. But for now, I just like listing them like this, because if I go under send money, there will still be some form of content that will be under send money. Under send money, there'll be some form of content that will be there. Remember that information architecture is all the screens that you need to design, like all. So you put it there. That's why sometimes you notice that most people, if you check case studies on Behance or Dribble, you see that for some people, if they do information architecture, they don't do user flow. If they do user flow, they don't do information architecture. And the ones that used to include information architecture don't used to even include information architecture of the whole. Okay, most times people build just features. People just design for features, like your like the tax we give to you before you came in, that was specifically a feature. So the information architecture will be small. But if you're doing something for a bigger app, the information architecture can never be small. It cannot be small. It's going to be very complex and all of that. So take time to create the content and ensure that you have everything in place. Okay, so let's do again. So under company, what can they do under company? They can request for a loan, request business loan. They can request for POS, POS. So I'm trying to make it as simple as this. Then company, what do you think will be under this company? So it's mostly about us, blog, our team, and all of that. So you can see where they included it, not on their app. This is they are just telling you about what CUDA is. So you can see where they place their own, which is not actually a bad thing. So I can say about us, contact us, our team, blog, etc. And when I come here under help, you see FAQs, self-help, all of those different helps. FAQ, customer success, uh, uh, spam alerts, and all of those things that they can have. Spam alerts and all. Security, yeah. Security. So now that I'm done with Kuda Bank, and remember that I'm using the top bank based on I want my company to also make money, because that's the goal of being a good UI UX designer. You're serving your users and you're serving it. I'm done with Kuda Bank, so I'll just go to Access Bank and look at some things that they kept, and where I need to do it under money transfer. Uh, okay, so they don't have all of these things here. Where I can get all of those things is in their mobile app. Their website is not giving me what I want to see. So say I'm done with this navigation, but this is not what I do. After I'm done drafting out all the content I want to see, as plenty as it is, I will now copy all of them and go to sit down. And that's where I'll now start doing everything I want to do. So I'll sit here first. Now that I have all of these things, I can now start picking my rectangle or anything I want to do, and I'll start copying them. And this is the part where you now do the arrangement. Remember that there was no arrangement here. It's just me gathering content on how each of these things is supposed. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So remember that the first time I was not doing anything arrangement. I was just drafting down. I was just keeping the contents that I want to see and how I want to see it. The contents I want to see and the contents I want to use. Maybe if I have as plenty, if I have plenty contents, like remember that you need to experience the app or the website yourself before you go. So if I click on send money, what am I going to see? I'll write out all of those contents. But for the purpose of this class, I can't do all of those content, be showing you all of those contents one after the other. You now know how you can do a very good information architecture. So now I'll start by saying, okay, this is the app. Or most times I don't like using home here. What I do is I just write the name of the app. So if it's say fast pay, this is fast pay. Now this is fast pay. I'll pick up another one. Instead of duplicating it, I'll just pick up another one. Why? Because I want it to look like this. And I'll say the first one is personal. That's if that's what me I'm calling it. So it can be individual banking, might not be personal, individual banking. Then I'll duplicate it and I'll put the next one, and I'll say business. I'll duplicate it, control G, and I'll go out with company, control D, I'll say help. This is help. And the last one is login and sign in. Get started and sign in, or anyone. So now that I have this, I'll remember to move this where it's not going to disturb me. So I'll just move all of this like this and keep it at the center. Ensure that I like alignment and everything so well that I would ensure that I align them together. Then another thing I like doing is giving each of these tab a different color. So that's like a ritual for me. I give it different colors to be able to differentiate what I am doing. For this I've given this color before, so I'll look for another color that I've not given. Or this is still looking like what we have already, so I'll look for a different color. Okay. Now that I have all of these colors, I can now use my connector to connect them. Use my connector to connect them. And so now that I've connected them, I can still start doing this connection here. So I'll delete this one. All anytime you want to make it straight, please just hold down shift for it to be straight. So it's just obvious that this needs to move a bit. Okay. So do the same for all of them. That if I have the time to start doing it. So remember that this is also aside, except you're working for a company. If you're not working for a company, you're also using it to build your portfolio. So you need to make it as neat as possible. So when you put it on Dribble or anywhere, it's going to be fine. Link all of this, and then I start with the sub heading, the sub. Now what I do for the sub is I don't use the same size of this rectangle. I would use a smaller version of the rectangle to now start doing the sub. Under the sub, we'll have make payments. Now this make payment is a sub under another sub, remember. So I'll just say this is make payments, Control D, Control V, make payments. Now under this make payment, we now have these other ones, internet and all of that. So for this, I'll just link this to this. I'll link this to this, and I'll start. I'll now start duplicating this again. Control D and make it a bit smaller. And I like reducing the size at this point to say 14 or 12, anyone, and I'll now start putting all of that. So most times I like making this a shade of this. So I'll be copying all of them. It's not very easy to do because I already have all my content that I want to use to do this electrical bill. So this I can now be so for this I can now be doing it like that. Electrical bill, just be listing the one after the other. Gift card, gift card. I can go on and on to do this. So because this is the next one, it's still under personal payments, I'll just bring this down and I would drag this instead of here, I'll drag this to here and I'll give it a line from here to know that they are connected. So yeah, seeing how my this one is going under send, I would now do send money. Send money, replicate this, put then under. Then for this part, sometimes I can also just include a text box here, like a text. If it's not a text, maybe a comment, I can just include a comment here, and I'll put the other text, other supporting text I want to do the thing for it, so that even if it's the backend person that is trying to use this information architecture to do what they need to do, it will be very easy for them to do it. All right. So is there any question? Is there any question so far? Any question?
I want to ask something now. The IA you're doing, I don't know if you take the screen back to the IA, the one we're just designing now.
Okay.
So in the make payment, so I understand the internet, electricity, and then gift card. They're like sub body of the make payment, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah. So
so how is this, how does this, how you will leave it, or are you supposed to still probably like put an arrow to, because normally I was thinking the make payment would be like the same way you did the home that has all these personal business and all. So this make payment now, technically, if someone clicks on this make payment now, Like, how would the person know it's a body, the internet and electricity
Oh,
body
thank
under
you.
that?
Thank you. So it's supposed to be like a link. Remember that you're always linking them. So this is supposed to be like a link that would link all of this. So you can see the link now.
Okay, better now. That's what I wanted to.
Yeah. So maybe because I did not include some of these links. So remember to always, the whole idea of using the arrows, remember that the arrows are mostly for linking. So always remember to link each of the process. Now under this internet part, there are still different contents that will be there. Remember, information architecture is the whole content. It's just like you're trying to build a house. If the architect doesn't include the toilets, the builder would not include toilets. Sometimes now the most annoying part is the person that is building the house knows that there's supposed to be toilet in the house, but maybe because the architect did not include the toilet, the person will now feel like, okay, since the toilet is not included, maybe they would include it outside or it will be somewhere else, and they will just build your house like that. So it's the same thing as this. If you don't include all of these things and say you're giving this to a backend or you're discussing this with this to the backend guys, mostly the people that use all of these things are mostly backend guys to be able to build their APIs and all of that. You will miss that particular part because you did not do it. So the end goal is, it's the overall content that you want to see on your app, the overall content. So it will be very big and difficult. I think I have a sample. I have a sample somewhere. Let me check. Let me check. I think I have a sample somewhere of a very complex AI. IA. Okay. So let me stop sharing here. I look for it. That's a client. It's a client's work, but I have permission to show it. Now, what I want to explain with it is that when I started, this job with the client, I was not the one that did it. I think the it was the product designer that was initially working with them that did this. But when I joined, it was easier because they already did it. And I'm sharing my screen now. They already did it, so it was easier for me to start the project. So you can see how, I can move like this. You can see how the thing started. This is the app where they have the super app, they have the logistic, they have the food app. Under the logistic, they have send, track, and order. Under send, track, and order, under food, they have browse, buy, and order. You can see how everything is linking. At the end of the day, when you can see the part I said you can include your, what's it called? You can include some comments and all of that. Don't mind this yes, no kind of thing. Yes, no is mostly for user flow, but if you need it to represent all the contents, now these are like the contents on the page. I knew what to design when I came in. I knew where to start from. I knew what to do. Pickup address. Under pickup address, they have receiver's address. They have saved address under looker. They have receiver's address. All points to this. Then you can calculate distance. You can show delivery methods that can travel within the distance. This is a comment. Then you can choose delivery method. You can add senders information, add receivers information, add package information. Under package information, you should have size, weight, this. You can see how comprehensive this is. This is how AI is supposed to be. Like, this is how comprehensive except you're doing for a feature, for just one feature, then you can have a very small AI. But if you're doing for the whole system, This is how your AI should be complex. And you can see the part where when you get to end and place order, you've come to the end of that side. Even as a backend person, or even as a new UI UX person, they give you this without research. They don't, you know what to design, right? You know how to go about it and anything you can do. You can imagine the amount of thinking. Yes, that's it. The thinking is even the most difficult part of it, not the design. This one, you in 2 hours, you can come up with this. It's not to put box and put text, but you see that thinking part on how to arrange it. And another thing is, while you're thinking about it, you are thinking of the user friendliness, you're thinking of the usability, you are thinking, if I allow users to go through this route, is it not a long journey? How do I shorten it? So remember that for every time that you want to put something, you have to think, is this the only way a user can come in? Or if I don't add this, will the user still do what the user is supposed to do? So if I don't add pay with card, will the user still buy food? If the answer is no, you put it. But if there's a shorter way, you will now say, okay, since there's a shorter way. So the thinking is the most important part. Yes, that's why it's called design. The thinking is the most important part. So when next I say in any task, I say do AI, IA, information architecture. You just know that you are not doing one line something. That thing we used to do that will draw all of these things. The one we used to do before. You know the one we used to do that will do it and end it here and export it, put it on our case study and say as a product designer of this, I was the main designer for this project. When they say tell me when you are doing the introductory part of case studies, I was the project designer of this and I did information architecture and I did user flow and I did customer journey map and I did all of these things. It's not to do it, it's to think about it and ensure that everything you're doing is as friendly as possible. So guys, that's it for me. Any question, any contribution, not just question, contribution. We all need to contribute. One person should just contribute something and we'll end it today for today. It's like I'll call. Dara, have I heard your voice today? I've heard Susu's voice. I've heard Emika's voice. I don't think I've heard Dara's voice. I've heard Stanley's voice. Please.
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
You heard my voice now.
No, contribute something. It's not just to hear you, but I know that you have a sweet voice.
Thank you. I've actually been listening, and now, at least, I think before I did not have an understanding of IA, but now I do. At least I thought it was almost the same with user flow, but now I understand that it's more complex and more intense than user flow.
Emphasis on the complex.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So if there's no other contribution, I would like to hand over to my able mentor to make a contribution, and we'll call it a day.
Okay, good evening once again. So I don't want us to waste much time again, but I want to tell us now to ask questions and also reach out where you are confused or where you don't understand. It's very, very important because you are going to be giving out tasks very soon. So once we give you tasks, it's not when you start saying, I don't understand the question. So you better understand it now so that you not have that to battle with. Okay. So I don't know. I don't know whether you have a question. So you have a question, ask it down and let us continue answering that. Or you can reach out to any of the mentor or any of from me and Boma, and shoot your question and then be clear, understand what is happening, what's the IA it's all about. Okay, that's all I have.
All right. Thank you, Believe. Thank you very much for that. They are laughing. They don't know that we'll give them to do AI for Twitter, for X. Do AI for X.
I beg you.
And then the question will come. You will see question from nowhere. You will not see Stanley. Stanley will not ask question. When you do this and you do this, what will happen? Anyways, don't worry, we are in this together. So even after the class, anyway, you don't understand, click up is I say click up. Work is too much in my head. Why am I forgetting where we are? Our Discord. Discord is there for us. All right, guys. See you next week. Again, Mondays and Wednesdays. Bye for now.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It was really.
I think someone has a question or want to say something.
Okay, Mutala.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
I was in the intermediate group before, and recently I saw that my name was removed. And I was asking since morning that if there was any qualifying task to be in the intermediate class, but I didn't get response up till now.
Did you do the scheduling app?
No, I didn't know about it.
The question is, when was the when did you join the Discord?
I got a call from KodeCamp if I received an email, and I told the man that called me it was in the spam message, so he sent a new one. Then I joined recently, and
recently, what day in particular?
Before the onboarding program, before the orientation.
Means you would have done your tax before then. So the people that you are giving, can I say, days of grace, are people that are just joining recently. I think I responded to some of the